Hello, my name's Kevin and welcome to the Love Decanters channel. So today I'm going to talk about Hill Ouston, who were a retailer that had, I think, department store in Birmingham and London in the 1920s and 30s. I was able to I knew about them before because they've appeared in some of my books, but I was able to download some catalogues from the Corning Museum of Glass online library. So there was two big hefty catalogues. There's a lot of crockery in there as well, but about more than half of it is glass. And so they seem to use a lot of different manufacturers. I think that even some of the stuff looks like Whitefriars, but in different colours from what it's saying. So and there's like a real mixture of some Czech stuff that's very deco, and then there's a lot of sort of copies / reproductions / in the style of Georgian glass, which was very fashionable in that time period anyway, sort of like between 1900 and 1940, sort of like copying the Georgian way was fashionable. So from going through these catalogues, I found a few pieces that I own that I think some of them I thought was originally Whitefriars, and because I've had them for years and years and years, and I thought, it doesn't appear in the catalogues, but I think this is Whitefriars, but it's not. It might even be what I don't think it is. I'll explain anyway, but it's like Whitefriars, but it's not. And some of it is like not great reproductions of Georgian decanter. So I have a few bits and pieces, not masses, but it'd be nice to have a look in the catalogues that I've downloaded and show you the bits of glass that I've got of something super obscure, and that's all I've got to say. And it just shows you what a maze this is, where you've got someone like this who's just like showing you lots of stuff that might be made by someone that you know, but it's not quite the same. It's their own little brand of it. So let's get on. We're going to have a look at the catalogue first. I'll show you how to get your copy, or copies, because there's two catalogues, and also then I'll show you the glass and how it looks in the catalogues as well. I thought I'd start by showing you how to find these catalogues. So up here I've typed in Corning Museum of Glass online library. Okay, and that's what you click on then. What I think is really funny is that my little smiley face appears down here because I did 3 videos about this, and there's 2 videos actually from the Corning Museum of Glass, but there's 3 from me. Oh well, stuff happens, as they say. Anyway, I'm not going to click on it. I've actually lined it up. So this is Corning Museum of Glass. I go in the trade catalogues here and blah blah blah, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to cheat because I know I'm looking for Ouston Hill. So if I type in Ouston, oh no, I have to spell it right first. Come on, take that out, go back, spell it right first. Ouston. There we go. And there's the 2 catalogues that you get. And if you click on either one of those, you get... Actually, no, let me click on one and show you, because what happens is you get this. Yep. And then if you want to see in it, if you scroll down, view download, click on that. If you click on that, then you get this. And if you want to download it, you click on this one over here. Can you see? And that will download it to your downloads folder in your PC. So I'm going to start with this decanter here, actually. Well, actually, I think it's like a cross between this one and this one. So this is a really bad copy of a Georgian decanter. You'll see when you see it in real life in these pictures, it looks a bit better. But the rings are not real neck rings, they're faux. If I scroll down a bit more, you'll see there's some more. Where is it? Look, these have all got faux neck rings. You can see, look, more clearly on these ones. But there's a lot of Georgian-y style stuff, but that isn't very Georgian when you look at it closely. Yeah, so anyway, I'm going to show you this decanter. I think it seems to be somewhere between these two, in that shape-wise it's like this, and even the fact that the stopper seems to be wider than the pouring lip, but everything about it is like this. It's cut like this. These got little panels down here. There's another version of it somewhere in one. Oh, this one here, look, with little cut panels at the bottom, at the top. Then you've got these hobnails in the middle and these faceted faux neck rings. But the shape of it is like this one here, sort of. So not as squat as these appear, but taller and slimmer like this one here. So anyway, let's get on and have a look at the decanter itself. So here's the first decanter. I don't know if you can see, but it has a slightly yellowish tinge to it, and some of the other things I'm going to show you also have that. I think you can see it in the picture, but anyway, let me take the stopper out. So the stopper is not what you'd expect for this time period, with very polished, very clean looking, with a bevel. This looks like a pre-war decanter, or even post-war, but yeah, a lot of the pre-war ones look like this, a bit slimmer. Post-war, the stoppers tend to get a bit fatter as you went further into the 20th century. But the shape of the stopper is like a very Georgian. That looks, if you were to do that, you'd go, well, that's a real Georgian decanter stopper. It's very perfect. There's no scratches or dents or anything, but yeah, that bit is almost fooling you until you see that bit. And then this is and look how clean the cutting is there. It's got star on the base. The shape is a bit wrong for the period, for it to have been a real sort of like Regency style decanter. Got these hobnails, then you've got panel cutting here, and then the neck rings are just fake neck rings that are pushed out from the inside. So they're not actually like a sausage of glass put on. They're just when it's blown into mould, the mould has these rings built into it, and then someone's come along afterwards and cut into the surface and put those facets on it. But that is the biggest giveaway, that this is a copy and not even a proper copy. You know, it's not trying to trick you in any way, shape or form, because I mean, it's too heavy. If you think when this, in the Regency period, there was a tax on glass by weight, and look at the thickness of that base. If it was a real Regency one, it'd be half that thickness. The whole thing is quite heavy. You've got fake neck rings, and then you've got this fantastically fitting stopper peg. So yeah, it's wrong for what it's trying to look like. Only from a distance would you go, oh, I think it might be Georgian, but even then the shape's not quite right. So, but anyway, this is the first decanter I'm showing you. The next decanter I'm going to show you is this one here. I bought this, must be over 25 years ago, thinking I think it's Whitefriars Spanish cut decanter, and it's not. Then I realised it's not, but I don't know what it is. I've seen people try to sell them as, they've described them as 18th century Dutch decanters, and I knew that wasn't right. But anyway, for a lot of money as well, I should add. Anyway, here it is. Square Dutch spirit bottle. That's maybe where the word, what they were saying, it was Dutch. And it is like a Spanish cut decanter, but it's a bit thicker, more, it's not as delicate as the Whitefriars ones. And but I bought this before I bought any of the Whitefriars ones, thinking this is what the Whitefriars ones are like. And then as soon as I got a Whitefriars one, I realised actually not only does this not appear in the catalogues, in the Whitefriars catalogues, it's not made by the same person. It just doesn't feel the same. There's also more in here. So I've never seen this one. I think I might have seen this Gluck Gluck version. And I am going to show you this, but the ones that I have don't have a stopper like this. The ones I have a heart-shaped stopper. And I'll show you something funny about the ones I have, because I've got two. But anyway, yeah, so there's different versions of this Spanish style cut thing. I'm going to show you this first, and then I'm going to cut and show you the two of these I've got. So here's my square Dutch spirit bottle, and I think you can see it here. When you look through the side here, you can see the colour. It's got this yellowish colour. If I turn that sideways, is it? Oh, that's strange. It doesn't really show like that. But there's the stopper. And then show you the bottle. It's not in fantastic condition. You can see it's got some bloom on the inside at the bottom there. It's got a lot of wear and tear on the base because it is quite heavy and a round. So this base is completely polished, and then you've got a round pontil mark, and then you can see the pattern here. Yeah, so it's, as I said, it's a bit more crude than the Whitefriars ones, and yeah, I thought I'd got something Whitefriars, and then as soon as I got something that was Whitefriars, I realised, yeah, it's not as nice, it's not as good. It's a bit of a failure by comparison, I think. And the colour's a bit weird. But anyway, we will have a look at the other two that I've got. So these are the two I have. I didn't buy them together, and I think you can immediately see the weirdness thing about them. Look at these stoppers. This is not I'm comfortable this is not a replacement, because let me show you something. Look at the size difference. Look at the size difference. There's no way. Yeah, this does sit lower, but this hole is tiny compared to this one. You know, and then when I put them next to each other, like cut off at the same point, you can see this is smaller. They're both heart-shaped. Look, can you see the little dimple in the bottom? Both of them. They both have a star cut on them, about the same, but this is much smaller than this one. They both have cut edges the same way, but they're just, the bottles are not the same, because that's got a tiny hole and that's got a big, can you see what I mean? Look, my finger stops there. Right, I can get my whole finger in. So, yeah, they're very, very weird. They are both yellowish. I think you can see it. This one looks a bit more yellow than this one, but they both have that same yellow colour. Just really, it says, I think the colour and this stopper, even if they weren't made at the same time, okay, maybe they're a year or two apart, but this says something about quality control. Yeah, it says a lot about quality control, and I think I don't know who's making them. It's not Whitefriars anyway, because I know this, you see a little bit of variation in some Whitefriars things, but nothing like this. This is incredibly bad quality control. It's like someone, they don't care. They're just, new guy comes in, there's no measurements being taken. Yeah, it's got to be like that. And that's what you end up with. I mean, that doesn't go in there at all. And that just plops straight in. It's just like, yeah, something very wrong going on with their quality. And I think Hill Ouston was supposed to be a high-class retailer, but the yellow colour and just this says something to me. So I'm going to show you, here is a pulley ring glasses, pulley ring suite, they're calling it. And there's a jug on page 44 and a decanter on page 111. I'm not going to go to those pages because there's like 200 pages in here. I'll just be scrolling forever. Now, I did a video about pulley ring glass and I showed you a glass, and I think it, now that I've got them, I think it's a champagne. I think it's this. It's still huge. 3.5 inches. This one's 3 3/4. Mine's not quite that big. It's this size. It's a monster glass, so you're going to be chugging in champagne. Yeah, let's go and have a look at this glass. So here is the glass in question, and yeah, so it's the size that they said for champagne, but that's like a modern wine glass. Now, theoretically, if this were a period pulley ring glass, it'd be made about 1800 or something, but look at that. That is way too clean. It's got a nice polished pontil here. There's no wear on here at all. If I scratch my finger on it, I hardly feel any marks on it. So I'm trying to find it wear on it, and I feel the odd little bit, but not over 200 years worth. And then just the surface of the glass is too clean. It is a 3-part glass. You can see here that this is the seam here. That's very clearly done. And then you can see that there's a seam that where the foot is pushed in. You can just see it pushed in there. So, yeah, but it's just too clean. There's a bit of it that's not well made, just back here. Where is it? There. If I can get it to focus, can you see the join? Not the pulley rings I have don't tend to have that, I don't think. But anyway, I know what it is now. It's Hill Ouston, 1930, pulley ring suite, champagne. So anyway, there's one more bit that I have to show you. I've saved the best to last, of course. So let's go and have a look at the last one. So here's the decanter we're looking at. It's this one here. Mine is not exactly the same as this. It has the 3 notches here. It doesn't have notches on the stopper, but also they say crystal and amber, and mine is neither of those. But yeah, it's huge. It's 14.5 inches, and mine is monster height. So yeah, it is right. So mine is probably from a slightly different year, and also now we've seen what the quality control is like, we wouldn't be surprised if there's slight variations in how things are. But yeah, it's very handsome. But the thing about this, this is 1930s, and it looks like something straight out of the Victorian era. If you were to say this was 1850, I'd go, yeah, that's fine. But only because I'd seen it in, I think it's in the Decanter, Ancient to Modern, and I think it might even be in the previous, the Decanter, An Illustrated History of Glass, both Andy McConnell books. I think it's in both of those. And so, yeah, I knew it was Hill Ouston. When I saw it, I thought I recognised that, and it was on eBay, and it was relatively cheap. So, and now it's mine. But yeah, I might get rid of some of the other Hill Ouston stuff because it is not genius copies, but I might keep this one because, yeah, it's a cool decanter and it's out of time, but in a good way, not as in it's a real soft pastiche type thing. But anyway, let's have a look at the decanter. So here we are. Mine is green. It's kind of like apple green, which was a very mid-century, mid-19th century colour. So, yeah, this was a colour they used before they started doing uranium green. See this effect here with the columns, the pillars, moulded pillars with the notches cut in. I have another Victorian decanter with that done on it, but the base is not right. Look at that. So the base is polished completely flat, and then it's got a star cut pontil. That's the way that's done is not very Victorian. They might just trim a little bit of the bottom of the moulding off, and then maybe put a little polish in the middle, and that would be it for something like this. And then you've got a really nice stopper. This seems like feels like a better quality thing than the others. So I don't know if it's the same maker or not, but yeah, there's something a bit more about it. Anyway, so that is the final piece of Hill Ouston I have, and the end of this trip into obscurity. So there you have it, Hill Ouston. Now, the catalogues I showed you, I recommend that you download them because they are they're as good as any reference book. There's like a couple of 100 pages there of glass, and it's all pre-war. So you've got this interwar period glass, and in the UK there was like this kind of arts and crafts movement. There was sort of like a softer Art Deco, and then there's this looking back at, you know, so there was a lot of reproduction of Jacobean, and lots of people were using Georgian style glass and stuff. So there was like weird, different things going on at the same time. I don't know how that worked out with as far as class went, but yeah, some of it was very retro and very looking back into history. Some of it was looking at arts and crafts, as I said, and then you've got this kind of like modern, and a lot of that is in this catalogue. So you'll see the whole array of not just what's modern and whatever, it's what people were using, as opposed to you look in something like the interwar glass books, and it's all full of like deco-y type stuff that's all trendy and everything today, but back then there were these other things going on, and they're the things that people don't really collect, a bit like the this, you know, people don't collect this kind of bad copy of Georgian glass. It's just not a thing, and but it's out there, and it'll give you an idea of what was going on. And when you see something, you know. In fact, if you think that's from 1930s, it's getting close to being an antique, because it's getting close to 100 years old. Anyway, so the only reference I used was from the Corning Museum of Glass. I showed you how to access that, but I'll give you a link as well. And yes, I think at that point I'm going to wrap up. So thank you for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe because it really helps my channel. It's free, and if you want to comment or give me any ideas for new films, I might not be able to do them. Or I might, don't know. Just depends on yeah, whether I know anything about the subject that you're asking about, or if I have anything to show you or whatever. But anyway, please feel free to do so, and have a good night. Good night.